4. Good evening. I hereby call this regular meeting of Nacogdoches ISD Board of Trustees to order. Let the record show that the quorum is present and notice of this meeting was posted as required by Texas Open Meeting Act. Reverend Kelly Pitcock is unable to attend today's meeting. I believe she is under weather. Thank you for joining us tonight. And first order of business is conducting executive closed session.
Do we have to read all those points?
Oh, yeah.
Can't go.
Yeah.
You gotta read
The board will now conduct executive closed session to discuss items posted on our agenda pursuant to the following provision of Texas Open Meeting Act and allowed by Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.129. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any actions the board wishes to take as the result of discussion in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes into open session. Time now is 5:01. Everyone, the board is now reconvening into open session, and time is 6:02 p.m. Please remember that the items do not have to be taken as it has been listed. Thank you for joining us, and ask to turn your cell phone to the silent mode, please. At this time, I ask Mr. James Montoya to give our invocation for this meeting.
Let us pray. As we go forward in these holidays, let us think about our families, our friends, our students, and the community, because we need to be together. The only way we can do our business here is be together and take care of our community. We all are from the same Creator. We all feel the same. Give us the wisdom and the knowledge to carry this on forward. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Montoya. Now, pledges to the flags. Principal of Thomas J. Elementary School, Mrs. Paula Hoshbarger, and her students were leading us today. Pledges to the flags.
Good evening, President Miramod, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Trujillo. We have with us tonight our second grade social studies students, and these kiddos are on fire for social studies, especially about our community. So I think they have a full-out program for you, more than just the pledges. They have prepared some stuff. So I am going to turn it over to their social studies teacher, Ms. Garcia.
Good evening. All right, boys and girls, you ready to do this? Yeah. Come on. All right, Reed, if you'll get here, just like we do. Go ahead. We'll do it this way. Who's next? Freddie. There you go. You know your parts. Cute. James. Let's come over here. I'll order. James, you can here. All right, come on, James. You're after Ariana. Ariana, you're right here. Or, let's see, Scarlett, you're in. Ariana, then James. Sorry, James. Right there, sorry. Okay, we ready to do this? All right, everybody. TJR rocks. You ready? Okay. Hand it over to Reed Strickland. I guess I should introduce everyone. This is Reed Strickland, Oakley Gasca, Freddie Carmona, Sanaya Fuller, Yuritsa Zepeda, James Wallace, Ariana Carmona, Scarlett Mejia, Samante Johnson, Sophia Solis, Annette Garcia, Dominique Martinez, and Shirley Macias. Can we have a hand for second grade TJR? All right, everyone smile. All right, here we go. Okay, you ready?
Hi everyone. We're the second grade neighborhood watch from TJR Elementary, and we're happy to be here. Each one of us has a chance to touch history. It's across the street, next to us, in front of us, and behind us.
Man, we're surrounded by history. We really do have a chance to touch history. Like, really touch it. When we are talking about things in social studies, we usually show our interest in two ways. Things can either be mind explosions, or things that make you go,
We'd like you to join us. We're going to share some fun facts we've learned about what makes Nacogdoches so awesome. We call this Did You Know? Feel free to join us if you want to. Did you know that the first English language newspaper in Texas was published here in Nacogdoches? What about this? Did you know that Frost Thorne, one of Texas' earliest millionaires, is buried in Oak Grove Cemetery just around the corner from us?
Things that make you go.
Here's something really cool. Oak Grove Cemetery, the final resting place of
many famous Texas, including Thomas J. Russ, is only 528 yards from our own school. How many get the chance to ever say that? Thank you,
Wait, I know something really interesting. Did you know that the first ceiling fan in Texas hung in the downtown Nacogdoches drugstore? And the fan blades were turned by a mule powder treadmill. It was just a mule tied by a rope outside of the store. I'm serious! And I have another super cool fact. Did you know that the only remaining Indian man is located on the right corner of 516 North Mount Street, just across the street from TJR? Get it? Mount Street!
How many times have you walked downtown to pay a water bill or get a permit? Did you know that on the corner of South Pecan and Pillar Street, there's a marker letting us all know that it's the site of General Sam Houston's first home in Texas? It's downtown, like just around the corner from our school. That's so huge. Things that make you go,
Well, we walk by the old university building every day at school. Did you know that it is referred to as the mother of education in Texas? It's the only building in Texas that was built for a university and was established during the Republic of Texas. As the Civil War drew more men into the fighting, the building was closed and changed to a hospital for Civil War soldiers. This is like mind-blowing.
I have something to add to that. The bell in the old university building that remains today rang first in 1859. This same bell was cast at the Henry N. Hooper Company in Boston. Okay, here's the best part. Mr. Hooper was an assigned of Paul Revere at his Boston foundry, as in the real Paul Revere. Seriously. And the rope for ringing the bell is changed every 10 years. You're welcome. Our very own school is considered an Art Deco school. It's 2 stories and even has a basement. Here's something else. Did you know that during World War II, a group of ladies manned the room that's now the nurses' clinic to wrap bandages to the American Red Cross? There's even a plaque there. And, by the way, our school is 85 years old. Hello! You might all know how excited we are to have the chance to see that statue of E.J. Campbell, which honors him because he was one of the true educators. It shows him holding a globe and reflects his commitment to this world through education. It shows him, it was unveiled last month. We're still talking about him and how he shaped our lives as students in Nacogdoches. These were his own words. Achieve excellence without excuses. Second grade has to work hard to live up to E.J. Campbell's example.
Second grade, ladies and gentlemen.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
I want to ask y'all a question real quick. How many of y'all ran through Duke the Dragon and across the football field? Almost all of you. That's great. Did you like it? Yeah. Y'all did a good job.
That was fantastic.
You want us facing this way or?
While they're getting ready to take a picture, Ms. Horsberger, thank you very much. Ms. Garcia, thank you very much. And students, we love you guys. And parents, thank you for bringing those students here. Let's give them a hand.
A los padres que vinieron con sus niños esta noche, muchas gracias. Me da mucho gusto ver que
Thank
tienen
you.
tan apoyo con ellos. Muchas gracias.
He's saying thank you for the parents. That's what he's saying in Spanish.
Just say thank you to the parents in Spanish.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Montoya. I tell you what, it's a pretty impressive second.
Full of enthusiasm.
I'm brave enough to stand out in front of people.
When is the next meeting?
What a teacher.
That's why we do
Next
this.
meeting.
I know. That's right.
Exactly why we do this.
When is the next?
You're
You know-
exactly right. Oh, I don't know.
It's heartwarming to see those second grades stand in front of people and read.
thought you were
Are we
inside.
going to take them?
Yeah, really.
That was great. Whoever goes next has to choose to do
It's me.
for the rest of you. We expect some fun facts. We expect some fun facts.
Should I go ahead? Sure. Should I go? Okay, at this time, I'll have time for superintendent's announcements and report. Dr. Trujillo, that's yours.
Thank you, President Fashid and Board. I'm going to try to wow y'all as much as we were just wowed. Nacogdoches High School Career and Technical Education Department held its Trade School and Industry Night on November the 11th at Malcolm Rector Center for Advanced Career and Innovation. It was an opportunity for students and their parents to meet with employers and higher education representatives. Colleges and universities were on hand, but so were industry partners who would be hiring soon-to-be graduates from Nacogdoches High School. 13 East Texas industry partners and colleges and universities were on hand to meet the students and their parents. Pretty exciting time for our kiddos. The Texas Historical Commission, Austin Marker, recognizing the encampment of federal troops. Here's your tidbit of knowledge. I'm not going to do as much as what the kids did here, but in Nacogdoches, shortly after the Battle of San Jacinto has been completed and installed in the parking lot across from Nacogdoches ISD's Nettie Marshall facility. The marker that stands there is set on the high ground where Nettie Marshall is located on the south and west of downtown Nacogdoches. That area served as a campground for 335 federal troops from Oklahoma who were invited to the Republic in 1836. Federal infantry and cavalry soldiers arrived in Nacogdoches on July 1836 to provide protection from the threat of attack from Mexican forces that might reorganize following the San Jacinto and native Indians still in the region. And that marker stands today, so if you want to see it, it's right across the street from Nettie Marshall. It's just been installed. More than 40 colleges, along with all branches of the military, were on hand on November 7th for the college fair at Nacogdoches High School. Hundreds of NHS students, as well as some from neighboring school districts, visited with recruiters from across Texas and the South. This event is a long-standing tradition in Nacogdoches High School, and it's always uplifting to see our students visiting with college recruiters. You might have noticed as you're driving on North Street, the new school zone, the new speed zone that is in front of Margie Chumley Academy for Success. The lights were installed earlier this month and have been in operation for a couple of weeks. Needless to say, there's a lot of traffic on North Street during the time frame when students are arriving at Margie Chumley. We're grateful for TxDOT for getting this installed and operational. And by the way, if you want to know, the speed limit drops to 35. A bit of sad news, but we want to celebrate Melinda Lindsay, a former teacher and administrator at Nacogdoches ISD. She passed away earlier this month following a brief illness. Services were held on November 16th. Melinda's career in public education included a stop in Laneville and Nacogdoches before taking over as superintendent in Kennard ISD in 2016. At Nacogdoches ISD, Melinda came on board as a teacher in 1999. She moved into the role as a reading specialist and was the district's director of literacy and social studies before being named principal at TJR. In 2013, she was named director of curriculum in NISD to a post she held until leaving for the superintendent position in Kennard. Melinda is a Nacogdoches High School graduate, and a number of her family have also worked in NISD over the years. She devoted her career to public education, and still she is missed. And one last item to all folks, Nacogdoches ISD will be holding their Thanksgiving break this coming week. That means no school Monday through Friday for students and staff. I want to be sure to say publicly how much we appreciate everything our staff does to make our students are cared for each and every day. We don't get to have school without our staff and dedicated teachers and aides. Our campus administrators, transportation, student nutrition, and custodial staff have all played a vital role in making sure everything runs smoothly. Our district police officers, district administration, there are so many to be thankful for this time of year. I'm grateful for the board of trustees that are up here. I thank you, our parents and stakeholders out there who care so much for Nacogdoches ISD. Everyone have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving break. And one item before we break, I'm going to ask Chief if he'll step in and if we will recognize our entire police department, which is staffed at 100%. You'll see all our police officers entering at this time. Chief, if you'll take the mic and kind of walk along and put it in front of them so they can introduce themselves to our community. And if y'all will step forward a little bit this way. We've seen y'all individually, but I'm going to ask you guys to turn around and face the camera that's out there. And Chief, if you'll introduce them all to our community.
Yes, well, good evening, President Nermond, board members, Superintendent Trujillo. I guess this journey started about mid-December of last year, and whenever I took over, it was Yvette Flores, Joel Cook, and Clinton Russell. And it's been a journey. I'm going to go ahead and start.
My name's Heath Holt. I've been a police officer for 4 years. I started here back in March. This is my hometown, so I decided to come back and serve this community.
I'm Officer Ray. I started with Marshall back in '23. I joined Nacogdoches ISD in March.
My name's Yvette Flores. I'm the administrative assistant for the department, and this is my 7th year with NISD PD.
I'm Luke Peterson. I just started. My name is Josh Griffin. I came from NACPD, started with the school district in April of '24. I've been a police officer about 4 years.
Doug Reed. I worked for Nacogdoches PD for 20 years, just retired from there and started here October 1st.
My name's Dylan Cook. I've been a police officer for going on 3 years now. Kind of like Officer Holt. I worked somewhere else before and then moved back here to my hometown to serve this community, and I started here in February of this year.
Bob Killingsworth, 25 years in Nacogdoches PD, and retired and got bored now. I'm working here. We started in April.
Larry Linder, 25 years law enforcement, and I started here in April also.
Chris Newberg, started here in April. This is my 19th year. I was a teacher here at the district for 2 years, but I'm a little bit better dressed now.
Joel Cook, started my law enforcement career at SFA. I did 14 years there, and I've been a little over 3 years here with the district.
John Donahue, I started with Nacogdoches ISD as a teacher in 2000, made a couple of stops in between, and came back home to NISD as an officer in July.
Clinton Russell, my cook, I did 9.5 years at UPD and about 3.5 years here.
This is my group.
When I worked for NISD, we had 3 police officers. 2000, I started with NISD. We had 3 police officers. I used to ride with them all over the place, all over the county, picking up kids, doing all kinds of stuff. But I'm glad to see that we have you guys keep our students safe. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, actually, when I started, we had 2. Greg Sal and Chief Polo.
Did y'all come up here? And I think they're going to take a picture of y'all.
When I went to school here, we had. Your dad. Things change.
Board members, it's a little bit awkward if y'all are just sitting back there. We'll see a little bit of it. You mind standing up so we can see you guys as well?
You still can't see me. No.
All right, everyone, find an angle, look at the camera, and we're going to follow the lead of those kids. Say cheese. 3, 2, 1, go.
Cheese.
Police officers are just really good at
We thank you all for your service, and we welcome you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time we have public hearing. We will now proceed with the public hearing on the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas, better known as FIRST, FIRST report. After the presentation, there will be an opportunity for the members of the audience to comment. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes each and must be related to the FIRST presentation. Our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Ben Everland, would be the presenting.
Make sure this. Okay. It's time for the annual first rating public meeting. For those that don't know, the first report is the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. And this is how we did for the 22-23 school year. The primary goal of the school first rating is to achieve quality performance in the management of school districts' financial resources, a goal made more significant due to the complexity of the accounting associated with Texas's school finance system. It's designed to encourage Texas public schools to manage their financial resources in such a way to provide the maximum allocation possible for the direct instructional purpose. The school first rating is based upon an analysis of staff and student data reported for the 23-24 school year and budgetary and financial data for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2023. The school first rating system rated the district based on the scores received from 21 separate performance indicators. Each performance indicator was designed to assess the quality of the financial management of the district's resources. So there are 21 key indicators, as I said. You can get an A, B, C, or an F. And Nacogdoches ISD got a rating of 96 or superior, and our prior year rating was also a 96 superior. So we're pretty consistent. There are 6 ceiling indicators. There were 5 last year, there are 6 this year. A ceiling indicator is if you don't meet one of the ceiling indicators, the max score you can get is different. It ranges. Max score you can get if you don't make timely payments is a 95. And if your PEMS doesn't match your annual financial report, the max you could get is an 89. But we'll be going through each of these indicators for you all. Indicators 1 and 2, annual financial report and data submitted to TEA within 30 days of the November 27th deadline. Yes. Prior year, also yes. Unmodified opinion on the annual financial report, yes. And just to note, an unmodified opinion is the highest assurance you can receive from an independent external auditor. And of course, last year was also a yes. 3 and 4, was the school district in compliance with the payment terms of all debt agreements at fiscal year end? Yes. Did the school make direct and timely payments to all of the ABC agencies, TRS, TWC, and the IRS, and of course any other governmental agency? Yes, we did. Indicator 5 was the total net position of governmental activities column in the statement of net position, net of accretion of interest for capital appreciation bonds, net pension liability, and other post-employment benefits greater than 0? Yes, it was. Indicator 6, average change in fund balance over 3 years, less than 25% decrease, or did the current year's assigned and unassigned fund balance exceed 75 days of operational expenditures? Yes, fund balance increased 9.28%, and the district had 233 days of operational expenditures in fund balance. And the prior year was also yes. Indicator 7 was the number of days of cash on hand and current investments in the general fund for the school district sufficient to cover operating expenditures? Yes, the district had 222 days of cash on hand and current investments. Was the measure of current assets to cover liabilities ratio for the district sufficient to cover short-term debt? Yes, and the ratio is there. Did the district's general fund revenues equal or exceed expenditures? Yes, and the amount is there also. 10 and 11, did the district average less than a 10% variance when comparing budgeted revenues to actual revenues in the last 3 years? The answer is yes, so we're doing a good job budgeting. Was the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets for the district sufficient to support long-term solvency? Yes, and just for everybody's information, if you would like to see the computations for all of these ratios and stuff like that, all of that is on TEA's website for the first ratings. Indicators 12 and 13, was the debt per 100 of assessed property value ratio sufficient to support future debt repayments? Yes. Was the district's administrative cost ratio equal to or less than the threshold ratio? Yes. 14 and 15, did the district not have a 15% decline in students to staff ratio over 3 years? The answer is yes. Ratio 0.016. Was the district's ADA within the allotted range of the district's biennial pupil projection submitted to TEA? That's something that we have to do every even year, which this year is one. Yes. Indicator 16, did the comparison of public at the PEMS data to like information in the annual financial report result in total variance less than 3%? Yes. 17 and 18, Did the external independent auditors indicate the AFR was free of any instances of material weakness in internal control for local, state, or federal funds, and free of any instances of material noncompliance for grants, contracts, and laws related to local, state, or federal funds? Yes and yes. 19 and 20. Did the district post the required financial information on its website in accordance with all the government codes and TEA codes at the end of the school year? And did the school board members discuss the district's property values at a board meeting within 120 days before the district adopted its budget? Yes, and we will do that again this year. Indicator 21, did the school district receive an adjusted repayment schedule for more than one fiscal year for an overallocation of FSP funds because of a financial hardship? That answer is no. This is how we scored on all the indicators 1 to 21 and how we've done in prior years. So let everybody see that. And I believe the past 12, 13, 14 years, we have achieved the highest rating possible in Superior. I think in the 13, 14 year, it was a little weird one. It was just pass, but that's as high as you could get. So we are always dancing when TEA says you did good. So in your packets, you will have, as required, the Financial Accountability Management Report, which is what we just went over, and the superintendent's contract as well. We also have to go over reimbursements received by the superintendent and board members for the fiscal year last year. I'm not going to read through those, but if you have any questions at the end, we can go through those. But for the board members and superintendent, a total of $13,000. So go to the next one. Outside compensation and/or fees received by the superintendent for professional consulting services and/or other personal services. There were no amounts reported for the fiscal year end June 30, 2023. Gifts received by executive officers and board members that had a total economic value of $250 or more. There were no amounts reported for the year end June 30, 2023. Business transactions between school district and board members, there were no amounts reported for the year end June 30, 2023. Any comments, questions?
Board, do you have any questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Oberlin. Okay, at this time, member of the audience, if you have any comments, you may express yourself, and you got 3 minutes for that. If not, this concludes public meeting. Now we move to public comments. We have not received any requests to address the board. However, those who are interested to address the board in the future, the instructions are posted with the meeting notice. Okay. From there, we move to consent agenda. Unless removed from consent agenda, all items listed will be acted on with one motion. If there is a board member who wishes to discuss items on the consent agenda separately, please indicate the agenda letter, and it will be set aside for further discussion and a separate vote. Board?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
A second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Ms. Anderson is passed. Okay. Now we are in portion of discussion and action agenda. We have 3 items for discussion and action portion of agenda. First one is there is no additional action resulting from executive closed session. Next one is consideration of the board action on revisions of the board operating procedures manual.
Can we pull that item?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. We move it to items?
Yes.
Okay.
I would just like for the full board to be present.
Yes, sir.
So we probably have to do it
Okay.
in January.
Yes, sir. Okay. Next is consideration of the board action on the annual school district audit for fiscal year 2023-2024. Presenter again, once again, Mr. Eberline.
Yes, sir. President Neermont, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Trio. I'd like to introduce Mr. Belt. He is with Crow LLP, our auditors, and he's going to be presenting the audit for us.
Well, it's my honor to be back in Nacogdoches. I'm an '88 graduate of Stephen F. Austin, so it's good to be back home. Feel like being back home. A native from Livingston, Texas. One of my highlights in my career is I started doing accreditation work for state universities in Texas. So one of my highlights was previously coming back to do the accreditation on Stephen F. Austin. So again, good to be back home here. Before getting into the results of the report, I just want to talk about your business operations. And tonight is the end of a milestone, a very important milestone for the fiscal year ended June 30th of '24. But you began this year many, many months ago through the blood, sweat, and tears that went along in the budget process. And then throughout the year, management's been processing all the payroll checks, all the putting out all the RFPs, and evaluating bids, handling all the grant compliance, all the work that the business office has done behind the scenes. So they've done a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes to get us to this point tonight. And so I just want to recognize all their hard work that they've put in. And then also, Ben has been here, I guess, almost 3 months now, so he gets trial by fire, immediately put in right into the audit, the throes of the audit process, so lucky Ben. But it's my honor to present the results of your audit tonight. It's a clean, unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can provide to the board that all the disclosures required by generally accepted accounting principles have been included and the financial statements are materially correct. And that's exactly the type of opinion you want to have. And it's very nice to follow the first rating indicator process, because this same process will be talked about next year, probably about this same time, based upon the report that I'm giving tonight. So everything that I'm telling you tonight is going to fit very nicely with your first rating indicator process. Also, because the district received over $750,000 in federal grant monies, you were required to undergo a federal single audit of those grant programs. So we had to apply special procedures based upon what the federal government tells us to do on those grant programs, and we have issued 2 reports in the very back of the document that goes over the results of that audit, and those are also unmodified reports with no findings in it. So again, that's exactly the type of report you'd want to get. There is a tremendous amount of financial information within this document, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details in it, but I'm just going to hit a couple of highlights of your general fund. But over on page 18 is what I believe is the most important financial statement in the whole document. This is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for your governmental funds. Obviously, the general fund is your primary operating fund and the most important fund to the district. Revenues for the year came in at $63,861,000. Expenditures came in at $62,584,000, giving you a net profit of the year, if you will, of $1,276,000. You began the year with a fund balance of $42,968,000, and you ended the year with a fund balance of $44,243,000. So as you know, fund balance is the primary indicator of health for a governmental entity, and for any governmental agency, you can compare the total operating expenses to the operating budget to get a good feel for how the reserves of the entity are doing. And you're typically looking to make sure they have a minimum of 30 to 60 days of fund balance on hand, and so the district is well in excess of that, and so you are in a great fund balance position. Overall, very good audit, very pleased with the result. Enjoyed working with Ben and all the rest of the crew. More than happy to entertain any questions the board may have.
The ESSER funds are going to drop off the table, and that happens to all the other schools too, but people that are not poised in the position we find ourselves are going to be in really big trouble, don't you think?
It is going to certainly make a challenge to make up for that shortfall of funds or the absence of those monies.
So where we are is from all of our leaderships, particularly Dr. Trujillo, in directing the board and making wise financial decisions, and we thank you for helping us in confirming that we're doing things the right way.
Board, any other questions? There's no question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. I need a motion at this time.
I move that we accept the financial audit as presented. I second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Move on. Okay. Now I need a motion, Reverend Irvin, for adjourn.
No, that's me.
Okay.
Assignments. I move that we adjourn.
I need a second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We adjourn. Everybody.